In the heart of a glittering rooftop party, surrounded by laughter and flashing cameras, my wife turned to me with a sneer that cut deeper than any knife. "Move out of the picture," she hissed, her voice dripping with contempt. "Your face is ruining the aesthetic." The crowd went silent. I stepped back, out of frame, and kept walking. Straight to my car, straight out of her life. But what she didn't know was that I'd been plotting my escape for months, uncovering secrets that would dismantle her perfect facade brick by brick. And the revenge that followed? It left her crying, broke, and utterly exposed. Pause for effect, let the tension build. Stick around, because this tale of betrayal and sweet justice is just getting started. If you've ever felt invisible in your own relationship, stabbed in the back by the one person who should have your side, or dreamed of that perfect moment of vindication, this story's for you. Hit that like button if you're ready for some cathartic payback, subscribe for more real-life revenge sagas that hit right in the feels, and drop a comment below. What's the worst betrayal you've survived? Let's dive in. My name is Carter Reynolds. At 41, I thought I had it all figured out. A solid career, a comfortable home, and a marriage that, while not fireworks every day, seemed stable enough. I own a thriving commercial real estate firm in Denver, the kind where deals close over handshakes and spreadsheets, demanding late nights poring over property valuations and client negotiations. The air in my office always carried that faint scent of fresh coffee and printer ink, a reminder of the empire I'd built from scratch. My wife, Vanessa, 38, was the creative force behind a boutique marketing agency, her days filled with mood boards, client pitches, and endless scrolls through social media feeds. She was obsessed with perfection, not just in her work, but in every aspect of our life. The way our home looked like a Pinterest board come to life, with minimalist decor, neutral tones, and not a single item out of place. How we appeared as a couple. Always polished, always enviable. We'd been married 13 years, no kids, her choice, really. "Babies would derail my career," she'd say, her eyes gleaming with ambition. And honestly, I was okay with it. I'd watched too many buddies chained to unhappy homes for the sake of their children, arguments echoing through walls that once held laughter. At least with Vanessa, we had options. Freedom. Or so I thought. But freedom can turn into a cage when you don't see the bars closing in. The cracks had been there for years, subtle at first, like how she'd critique my outfits before events, her fingers pinching the fabric as if it offended her. "Carter, that tie clashes with the vibe," she'd sigh, rolling her eyes. Or the way our conversations revolved around her promotions, her networking events, her endless quest for likes and shares. I brushed it off as her drive, her passion. After all, I loved her confidence, the way she commanded a room. But deep down, a nagging doubt gnawed at me, like a quiet hum in the back of my mind. Was I just a prop in her story? The birthday party was the tipping point, the moment everything shattered. It was held at Nala, this upscale rooftop spot downtown where the elite sipped overpriced cocktails, think $18 martinis garnished with edible gold flakes, and plates arrived looking more like art installations than food. The evening air was crisp, carrying the faint aroma of citrus from the bar and the distant hum of city traffic below. Vanessa had orchestrated it like a military campaign for weeks, curating the guest list of influencers and colleagues, selecting decorations that screamed luxury minimalism, string lights, twinkling like stars, white linens billowing in the breeze. She'd even hired a professional photographer, Trevor, a lanky kid in his 20s with a camera slung around his neck like a badge of honor. "Make sure to capture the candid vibes," she'd instructed him, her voice laced with that artificial sweetness she reserved for underlings. I tried to help, offering to handle the RSVPs or pick up the cake. But she waved me off each time, her manicured nails flicking the air dismissively. "Just show up and don't embarrass me, Carter," she snapped one evening over dinner, her fork hovering mid-air. The words stung, but I swallowed them down with my steak, telling myself it was just party stress. I arrived early, at 6:45, in the navy suit she'd personally selected after making me model 4 options like I was her personal mannequin. The fabric felt stiff against my skin, a reminder of how much control she exerted over even the smallest details. As I stepped onto the rooftop, the golden hour sun bathed everything in a warm glow, the city skyline stretching out like a postcard. Vanessa barely glanced my way when I approached. She was too engrossed in directing Trevor, positioning herself by the railing where the lights framed her perfectly in her burgundy dress that hugged her figure like a second skin. This angle is fire," Trevor gushed, snapping test shots. Since when was she to some kid half her age? Her laughter tinkled like crystal, but when she finally noticed me, her expression flattened. "Carter, you're here," she said, as if I'd crashed her event. "Try to mingle. Don't just stand there looking awkward." The word hung in the air, sharp and dismissive. My chest tightened, a familiar ache settling in, but I forced a smile and headed to the bar. The bartender poured me a scotch, the ice clinking soothingly as I scanned the crowd. Vanessa's work friends, all air kisses and superficial chatter, treating me like an accessory they'd rather ignore. I nursed my drink near the appetizer table, the salty tang of prosciutto-wrapped dates doing little to ease the growing knot in my stomach. Lauren, Vanessa's best friend since college, sidled up with a sympathetic smile that didn't reach her eyes. She was always the kind one, with her warm hugs and genuine questions. "How are you holding up, Carter?" she asked softly, her voice barely audible over the jazz playlist. I lied through gritted teeth. "Fine. Just staying out of the way." Her brow furrowed as if she wanted to say more, perhaps warn me, but before she could, Vanessa's voice pierced the air like a command. "Everyone, group photo time," she announced, clapping her hands to herd the guests toward her prime spot. The sun was dipping lower, casting long shadows that danced across the rooftop. Trevor adjusted his lens, excitement buzzing around him. I moved instinctively to the edge of the group, where I'd always positioned myself in her photos. Present, but not stealing the spotlight. Vanessa's social media was a masterpiece of curation. Clean lines, aspirational vibes, no room for anything off-brand. But that night, even my peripheral presence was unacceptable. "Carter, what are you doing?" Her tone was razor-sharp, laced with irritation that made my skin prickle. I blinked, confused. "Getting in the photo?" The words barely left my mouth before she fired back, not bothering to whisper. "Move out of the picture. Your face is ruining the aesthetic." Time froze. The words slammed into me like a freight train, my heart pounding in my ears, blood rushing hot to my face. Around us, the chatter died, a collective intake of breath, awkward shuffles, eyes darting away. Trevor lowered his camera, his cheeks flushing. Lauren's hand flew to her mouth. I stood there for what felt like an eternity but was probably 3 seconds, the rooftop wind whipping through my hair, carrying the scent of her perfume mixed with betrayal. Something inside me snapped, not with rage, but with crystalline clarity. This wasn't just a slip. It was the truth she'd been hiding behind smiles and filters. Our marriage reduced to optics, me as the flaw in her perfect image. My fists clenched at my sides, nails digging into palms, but I didn't argue. I stepped out of frame and kept walking, past the whispering guests, their pitying glances burning my back, past the bar, my half-finished drink abandoned, past Lauren, who reached out with a soft, "Carter." But let her arm drop. The elevator doors closed with a soft ding, the descent feeling like freedom. My phone erupted before I hit the parking garage. Buzz after buzz, like angry bees in my pocket. Vanessa's name flashing, then her friends. I ignored it all, sliding into my car, the leather cool against my heated skin. The engine roared to life, and I drove, not home, to the house that now felt like a stage set, but to my office. The streets blurred past, neon lights reflecting off the windshield as my mind raced. How had it come to this? 13 years, dissolved in one cruel sentence. I let myself in with my keycard, the building silent except for the hum of fluorescent lights. Collapsing into my chair, I stared out the floor-to-ceiling windows at the twinkling Denver skyline, the mountains shadowy guardians in the distance. The air was stale, laced with the faint odor of yesterday's takeout, but it was mine. Around midnight, a text from Lauren lit up the screen. She's still crying. Says she didn't mean it that way. You should call her. I stared at those words, my thumb hovering. Then, with a deep breath, I blocked Vanessa's number. Peace settled over me like a blanket. What they didn't know, what no one knew, was that this wasn't impulsive. I'd been planning my exit for 8 months, ever since uncovering the rot beneath her polished exterior. And what came next? It would shatter her world completely. Before we peel back those layers of deceit, if this hits close to home, if you've ever been diminished by someone you loved, pause and hit subscribe. Share in the comments a moment you realized you deserved more. Smash that like. Trust me, the twists ahead will have you cheering. 8 months earlier, fate handed me the first thread to unravel. I'd been in Phoenix for a business meeting, the desert heat clinging to my skin like a bad memory. But it got cancelled last minute, so I grabbed an early flight, landing back in Denver by 8 p.m. on a Thursday. The drive home was quiet, the radio playing soft rock that did little to drown my fatigue. Our house loomed dark in the driveway, unusual since Vanessa's sleek Audi sat there, gleaming under the streetlight. I slipped in quietly, keys jingling softly, assuming she'd crashed early with one of her migraines, stress from work turning her temples into throbbing battlegrounds. But the bedroom was empty, sheets untouched. A light spilled from my home office down the hall. Heart quickening, I approached silently, the carpet muffling my steps. There she was, Vanessa, hunched over my desk, fingers flying across my keyboard. The screen's glow cast harsh shadows on her face, highlighting the furrow in her brow. "What are you doing?" I asked from the doorway, my voice steady but edged with suspicion. She jumped, literally leaped in her chair, hand clutching her chest like I'd fired a shot. "God, Carter, you scared me." Her eyes darted, wide with panic. I needed to check something for work. My laptop died, and I couldn't find the charger. The excuse tumbled out too quickly, rehearsed, as she frantically closed windows. I stepped closer, the room smelling of her vanilla lotion mixed with tension. "What were you looking for exactly?" She stood, smoothing her dress with trembling hands. "Just a client file for a presentation." "When did you get home?" 2 minutes ago." I slid into the chair, pulling up recent files. Bank statements. My personal ones, separate from our joint account. The ones we'd agreed to keep private per our prenup. "Vanessa, why were you digging through my bank records?" Her face shifted from nervous to defiant, lips pursing. "Because you've been hiding money from me." The accusation hung heavy, my pulse thundering. "Hiding? It's my personal savings. You've always known about it, just like yours. That's what we agreed on." She crossed her arms, nails digging into her sleeves. "You have almost $400,000 in there, Carter. 400,000. And you never told me?" The number echoed, but it was her entitlement that hit hardest. My mind whirred. This wasn't concern, it was calculation. "Is that it? You want my money?" She didn't flinch. "We're married. What's yours is mine. We have a prenup, Vanessa. Clear terms on separate property." Her eyes narrowed. "That thing's ancient. 13 years old. Things change." "What things?" I pressed, leaning forward. "I'm starting my own agency. I need capital to launch big, compete with the giants." There it was, the truth, cold and self-serving. Not about us, but her assent. My laugh escaped, bitter and hollow. "You want me to fork over 20 years of savings for your dream? I'm your husband, not an ATM." Her face hardened, a storm brewing. "Fine. I'll get it another way." She stormed out, leaving me in the dim light, heart racing with realization. This was no partnership. It was a transaction. That night ignited my vigilance. Over the next weeks, patterns emerged I'd been blind to. Her phone, always face down on tables, vibrating with notifications she silenced quickly. Passwords on everything. Her laptop, once left open, now locked like Fort Knox. Late nights at the office, returning after 10 p.m., her breath carrying hints of Merlot, excuses about demanding clients rolling off her tongue too smoothly. My gut twisted each time, doubt festering like an open wound. Was I paranoid, or was the foundation crumbling? Confirmation came from Nathan, my business partner of 15 years, a burly guy with a no-nonsense demeanor. He cornered me in my office one afternoon, the door clicking shut behind him. He shifted uncomfortably, rubbing his neck. "Carter, hate to do this, but you need to know." My stomach dropped. "What?" "Saw Vanessa last Tuesday at Merchants in Lodo." The restaurant, a dimly lit haven for power dinners, velvet booths and candlelight screaming intimacy. "With who?" He pulled out his phone, the photo hitting like a gut punch. Vanessa in a corner booth with a stranger, mid-40s, sharp suit, exuding that predatory confidence of the ultra-successful. They leaned in close, her hand inches from his, body language screaming affair. "Blake Morrison," Nathan said. "CEO of Morrison Digital, big players in marketing." The name clicked, industry titan, twice married, known for cutthroat deals. Everything aligned, the secrecy, the meetings, her sudden cash grab. She wasn't just ambitious. She was trading up. I thanked Nathan, my voice steady, but inside, rage simmered with hurt. This wasn't love. It was upgrade. I didn't confront her. Instead, I armored up. Hired Rachel Torres, a PI with a reputation for discretion in messy domestics. She was sharp, no frills, delivering results fast. Within weeks, her report landed. Photos of Vanessa and Blake at swanky hotels, the scent of room service lingering in my imagination. Dinners at hidden gems, laughter echoing in my mind, visits to his loft, lights dimmed low. They'd met at a conference 6 months ago, sparks flying into full-blown betrayal. Blake was divorcing his second wife, promising Vanessa a spot at his firm once she ditched me. But Rachel's dig deeper revealed his type. Users, not keepers. I played the part, dinners together, her hand in mine feeling like ice, while prepping my escape. Transferred funds to hidden accounts, updated my will, copied every document. Scouted apartments, envisioning a life without her filters. The party was meant to be my dignified farewell. Endure the night, divorce her privately next day. But her humiliation flipped the script. No more grace. The morning after, I woke on my office couch, neck aching, suit rumpled like my resolve had been. Phone showed 73 missed calls. Vanessa's hysteria, her mom's disdain, friends' confusion. I ignored them, dialing my attorney, David, instead. "File today," I said, voice firm. He'd prepped months ago. "Serve her at work, 2 p.m. make it public." If she wanted drama, she'd get it. I hit the gym, sweat purging the pain, then a haircut, sharp and fresh. Bought new suits. Tailored. Confident. Moved into my leased apartment under an LLC, the space bare but liberating, smelling of new paint and possibility. By 2 p.m., papers hit her desk. By 2:30, my phone blew up from unknowns. Blocked them all. Lauren called at 6. "What the hell, Carter?" "Divorce." She was leaving anyway for Blake. Shock silenced her. "You knew?" "Suspected. But I have proof now." She sighed. "She'll fight. Let her. She'll lose." Poured bourbon, scanned Rachel's 200-page dossier. Incriminating photos, texts, don't ask how, Blake footing bills for her glam, even Trevor the photographer. Irony burned. I funded the party. He funded her humiliation of me. Laughter escaped. Dark and satisfying. The divorce blitzkrieged. Vanessa contested the prenup. Duress. But David shredded it in mediation. "You had counsel, no coercion." Her lawyer pivoted, emotional labor compensation. David countered with the affair folder, sliding it across like a checkmate. Vanessa blanched, the room thick with tension. Recess called. Break over. David returned grinning. They settle. She keeps house, car, you everything else. No alimony. But twist. Blake reconciled with his wife, vows renewed in Napa. He'd played Vanessa like a fiddle. I accepted, with one ad. Public Instagram confession, no spin. She balked, but court threats won. 3 days later, her post. Raw truth, ego over marriage, affair exposed. Comments exploded. Screenshots viral. Her brand obliterated. Lauren texted, gutsy. She's crumbling. Blake ghosted, job teetering. A twinge hit. Not glee, but justice. 6 months post-finalization. Coffee shop run-in. Vanessa looked diminished. Tired eyes, casual clothes, no polish. Can we talk? Black coffee for her, simple. Apologies flowed. Party, affair, treatment. Okay, I said flatly. Are you happy? Yes. Her. Bitter laugh. Blake gone, job lost, house sold, living with mom, followers fled. Do you hate me? No. I feel nothing. Her tears fell. I left, sun warming my face, future bright. The climax hit like thunder. Her confession post, face paling in mediation, Blake's betrayal revealed. Slow motion downfall, her empire crumbling, hypocrisy exposed. Catharsis washed over me, fists unclenching, breath steadying. Justice, earned. Expanded with more details for length. Add internal monologues during climax. As David revealed the affair, Vanessa's composure cracked, hands trembling, eyes darting like a trapped animal. Inside, I felt vindicated, the weight lifting. Her world, built on lies, collapsed in that room. Reflecting back, karma's real. Self-respect isn't optional. Betrayal's price is steep. If someone diminishes you, walk head high. If this saga delivered that justice rush, smash like, subscribe for more, comment your payback tales. Share with a friend who needs it. Click next for another epic revenge. See you there.